Hello, good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. I am your host, Don Master Mateo, joined by a good friend and colleague, Mr. Mike the Hudster Hudson.
What up?
How are we doing this morning? It is the 23rd day of May, 2024. Hope you guys are having a fantastic morning, a fantastic week, a fantastic month as we move towards one of the most important parts of the year, which is my birthday. And I know all of you will celebrate independently, so that's fine with me. We got Wayne in the chat, Mash for Fun, William Greggs, Fran, Joseph, good morning, good morning. Get that chat popping this morning. Get some questions going, get some tickers flowing, talk to each other, tell us where you're tuning in from. I don't care what you write, just write something in there. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Had a great showing last night for Wine Wednesday. You guys did a phenomenal job with the like button. We talked about the charts. We did a little more teaching than we normally do on Wine Wednesday, but we were missing our third leg, our third Clover. So you got a little extra out of us last night, and we were happy to do so. We got gappers this morning. We got other stuff moving. And if you're new here, Good Morning NASDAQ's the show we do every single morning, 8:45 a.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And on Wednesdays at 9:15, every day the market's open, we are live right here in the pre-market, talk you through what we're looking at, talk you through the gappers, their potential dilution, their fundamentals, the news, the catalyst, the daily charts, all the nitty-gritty on these gappers. And we hope that you enjoy it. And if you do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Jim Bob Cooter, let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. Thoughts on the market, thoughts on the day, thoughts going into the second half of the week.
Am I Jim Bob Cooter?
That's you, the one and only.
All right. Yeah, we're a little sad today. There's only one gapper. It's kind of unimpressive.
Unimpressive,
One,
167% up on the day. Oh, how the times have changed.
yeah, I need more than that. After seeing the M goal, MGRX, it feels like a little bit of a fizzle today. A little bit of a air gain let out, but at least we have one to talk about. So let's just jump
You're
right on
so
into
funny.
it.
At least we have one to talk about, 170%. There was like a 2 week stretch where we didn't have one over 40%. And here we are saying it's kind of a, what was the adjective? A fizzler? What'd you say?
The air has fizzled.
There's fizzled. I don't know what he's talking about. It is another cheapie. And so we will get right into it. If you have any questions on other tickers, we'd like to get to those towards the end. Let's kick her off. ONMD. Bada boom, bada bang, bada whoop. ONMD, one med net, rocking 11.17 million float, low across the board, except they are running low on cash. They were the first company to trademark a RWD offering through its one med net IRWD solution that
You got this.
utilizes AI to securely de-identify, search, and curate imaging data for the benefit of its partner network consisting of medical and academic research institutions. I have to hit show more to generate progression and stages of medical research, discovery, and diagnostics that span the field of life sciences. You know when you're writing like your
Yeah.
resume or like the start of a paper and you just like this run-on sentence that says that what's basically the whole paper all in one sentence? That's what that
So
was.
it's an AI company.
AI is the word. I don't know what RWD is, but they're proud of it. Um, and they're reporting a greater than five-fold expansion of IRWD network and platform. Obviously, you know, Huddy knows all about that. They got news, okay? Let's put it that way. Something with their company, their business model, 3 months of cash, D-SPAC, not registered, not registered, not registered. Nothing's registered. Low across the board, can't really dilute, but they do need money. Let's head on over to the chart where we will see ourselves pushing into the 200. Can we at least give it some credit now? It's at 200% on the day.
Yeah,
Can we give it
it's
some more
better.
credit? 220, 222. Come on. And
If it gets
repping,
to $2, I'll be impressed.
you're out of control. Um,
I'm just telling you.
38 million shares on the day. We have some spikes and some tops topping out right around that $2 area that Jim Bob Cooter just mentioned. Let's continue to go back. So it looks like it was a D-SPAC. Has been fading ever since. And that $2 area is kind of like your all-time highs. Hasn't really traded any volume above those areas. And right now would have to be, what, 280, 300% to get to those levels. First thoughts. Those are your levels. That's your line, right?
Yeah. First thoughts is $2 a big level on the chart. Second thought is it's nothing crazy dilutive. Third thought is I don't like dollar gappers. That's why I wanted to get to 2, and then I'd be more interested in a short. But here I think it could kind of go either way. Those are my thoughts.
There's not a lot of thoughts here. $2 is your area, but it's not a breakout that I would be really all that interested in unless it became a Billy Boy.
Billy Boy.
Because even at decent volume, it's like a huge break over a basically all-time high on the chart. But I don't like to buy stocks that are already up like 300% into a level that matters, because then I find it very difficult and a little bit greedy to be like, oh, I think it should go 400%, 450. But you never know. We are still in a very, very warm market where stuff is moving, stuff is gapping. It's gapping up the next day. It's running on the next day, sometimes going multiple days. So this isn't the market to just kind of short and hold and not cut your losses. But I do think there's going to be a decent amount of interest in for any spikes into that $2 area for short sellers shorting into that resistance. If it does hold over that, I do think it could get squeezy. What is it? What did I say? 11 mil float. So not the smallest, but is moving kind of thin this morning. Not too thin. Quite nice, actually. But yeah, I don't really, from the long perspective, really don't see myself playing this into resistance. And then once it's through resistance, I feel like it's too far gone to really want it, unless, again, it's doing insane volume, which we've seen in this market has been all you need to catch a gapper into the next day. Final thoughts. One MedNet. What?
Speaking of insane volume catching into the next day, I think we go to the next gapper.
Which one you got?
I think it's GWAV.
Is GWAV pushing right now, or?
No. I think it's about to fall off a cliff.
GWAV was a nice one. We don't need to dive into it because we dove into it. If you've been paying attention over the last week, this was one of the simps to FFIE. Went on an incredible move from the 3-4-5 cent area all the way up towards 30. Earnings came out. They added some, an ATM into their schedule and kind of dumped back right down to 5. Had a pretty nice first screen day yesterday that I butchered all over the place, and then pushed after hours as high as the 13s this morning, up 46%. Congrats to any overnight longs. I don't know, I guess, if you've taken profits, but can't be much more happy than, buying 7-8 cents and getting 50+% on your position. So nice move there, but does look like it's fading off a little bit here. Pre-market, rooting for that to go as high as possible. There was another one on there before. Okay, Z-Car, another cheap stock. Let's head on over the tracker of Duluth's. This is ugly, but it's ugly, but we're going to hit it because we don't got a lot to hit besides the big dog. Zoomcar Holdings. I feel like we've definitely talked about this one in the past, I think in March. 56 mil float. They're in the auto and truck dealership industry in India.
So it's like a scam.
No news today. Cash needs high, D-SPAC, and can't dilute. Okay. Tell me why you think it's whatever word you just said. Scam? Yeah, why?
Because there's 3 trading days in the past 3 years.
No, most of what we trade is like that, but
and it's lower every time. I don't know. It just
yeah,
looks
I
like
mean,
a horrible...
the first volume spikes were in the 2s to the 7s. Since then, we faded all the way down to the sub-dollar, and then we did try to gap into the high ones, but we're met with no morning spike and a beautiful red candle that I'm sure makes Huddie happy when he sees those type of candles as a day one short seller. And here we are, only up 50% on the day. We're as high as the 50 cent area right out of the gate this morning, but are near the lows of pre-market, and quite depressing looking intraday chart there in pre-market right now. Nothing for Mr. Dominic here. Nothing for me to be doing with this. Not shorting a 50% up on the day stock at 30 cents. Don't really want to buy a stock. I just don't really prefer to buy, even if it's in the theme on day one in the morning, just because don't like to try to predict which ones are going to work. If you'd done that yesterday on, what was it, AKTS? Try to do what M Gold did the other day and just try to be a part of that. Where was the open? You might have caught this move, but if you didn't sell, it pretty much faded all day, and I think they did some dilution later in the afternoon, an RDO or something. So yeah, I try not to predict. I'd rather wait to the end of the day, see if they're part of the Billy Club, and then maybe play them then. But probably still too afraid to buy before after hours. What was the ticker? Z car.
Yeah.
Ugly. Poop. Nothing for me. Poop on a stick.
Okay. And then the other tickers that are up, there's some other cheapies. I mean, GWEV has definitely kind of reignited a little bit. You got Peggy, all your other runners from last week that are still kind of threatening their highs on the chart.
Oh,
PEGY is one
stop
of
it
them.
now, Peggy.
Yeah, she's
Wait for me. This one's been on my watch list the last 3 days because it's the only one that really hasn't come down all the way back to where it came from. Started at 5 cents, got as high as the 20s, and keeps chopping around in that 13 to 15, 16 cent area. And get a life right now. Pineapple Energy. Really like these type of daily charts because they're in the hot price range. They're holding up. They can do really big volume. And on this one, there's particularly just a lot of room for it to run behind it, even though it is off of probably a bad news gap. There's not a lot of volume anywhere back on the chart. And these, kind of bottom tier stocks kind of reminds me of like a JAG-X or something, Tattoo. Breakouts tend to do quite well on them. And I'm really praying and hoping that this one holds up for me because it's very interesting. The faster it kind of spikes into the 20s, the less I'm going to be buying out of the gate. Consolidation is my friend underneath breakout levels, especially when I don't have an early entry. And then you said the other one was what? SINT?
no, but it's up.
It had a
I didn't
run
mention
this morning.
SINT. That looks horrible.
Yeah, well, no, it didn't. It ran this morning already. Kind of ran off the lows, kind of lagging a little bit to your GWAV, CRKN, but already getting beaten right back down, only up 7% now. Which in some ways on first screen days when you see this type of action, usually it's closer to the open when they kind of rip like this on a potential first screen day, and then they come back down really quickly, like all the way back to where green red is or where it came from. Sometimes we've seen some really nice follow-up runs once people kind of take it off their radar and say, oh, I'm not playing that anymore. It already spiked in pre-market. We'll see if that's the case with SINT. What was the other one you brought up?
Hey, Jim, I'm not saying any words.
You said Peggy and something else. You said GWAV is still bringing the life to something, but then I liked Peggy too much.
The rest of them kind of suck.
The rest of them suck?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at what the chat is doing this morning. Simon says hit that like button. Yeah, we'd really appreciate it if you do hit that like button. It makes us feel all good and gooey inside. We do like to keep a 50% ratio. So right now there's right around 100 people watching. So if we could get that number to 50, all is good in the world, right? Gerald says morning, ONMD doing stuff. Let's check back in on ONMD. So when we checked in on it, it looked like it was right up near the highs of pre-market now. 160s is your top. We'll see if it continues to grind and continue to set higher lows and hold up into the open, or if it gives back a lot of these gains and comes back down towards 1. We went through those fast.
It was only one.
But we went through them fast. That's why I need you to dive into them a little more.
No. Sorry, I didn't have my cue cards.
I try to cue you up. I feel like you don't listen to my cues, and then I just have to cue myself up and talk more.
Might be.
What else are you watching? Say something, Huddie. Talk to the people. Let's see if there's anything else popping up. ASTI up 50% right now. That's an oldie. Oh, that's actually an interesting little chart. Did you guys talk about this one last week when I was gone? This would have been last Thursday.
No.
Obviously not. Oh, it just ran. It didn't gap. Lower price stock, 30 mil float. I believe that they are solar. Yeah, they are. Ascent.
Used to be an OTC
solar.
stock.
Yeah, did it?
Yeah.
I remember it being a friend.
It made us money.
What year?
2020.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's obviously reverse split and stuff, but 2021. Yeah, I remember this being a big one. Let's just see if there's news today. 7 days ago, so no. So that start of the move is just kind of the start of the move, and then they're kind of red across the board here in overall risk. I have some cash. They got some offering from 2023 S1 exercise price at 288. Not registered. Have a little bit of an ATM left from this year, $4 million worth. And if I'm just pulling this up, looking at my charts, high of that day when the news came out was 20 cents basically. So that's where I would draw my line. The difference between, me being interested in a breakout on, what was the other one? ONMD, being up 200, 300% into a breakout level, versus something that's only up 50% to the breakout level. I much prefer the ones that are less up on the day because you feel less greedy chasing something up 50% versus something that's up 300% for obvious reasons. But that's kind of your line in the sand. If 20 kind of breaks, pushes, fails, and pulls back below, probably going to fade off and fail. But this is quite interesting to see that with no news, it's kind of popped back up. Probably for all the reasons Huddie kind of mentioned with just GWAV, CTR, CRT, CRKN, whatever it is, SINT, PEGI,
Kraken.
all these guys kind of popping back up on from their lows. And this one is just kind of popping up and getting some attention in the pre-market here after kind of having an okay little first screen day yesterday from the 11s to the 14s. But 20 cents is that level. We'll see at the open whether or not it's in that range or if it's already faded back down or maybe gone a little bit further. But that's an interesting one. What'd you say?
CYTO just started popping 50%.
Recent one we would have talked about. I'm sure you probably gap and crapped that. Was there a reverse split since, or was it $3?
I think it was $3. I don't think I've made a lot of money on this one.
17 minutes ago, they announced the dissemination of positive results from Bentrio trial and seasonal allergic rhinitis through social media channels of Top Allergy Journal. Obviously. Yeah, I don't see any reverse splits or anything. You don't think you made money on it? It was a beautiful dojo.
Maybe I did. I don't remember anymore. There's so many.
Let's see if there's any dilution. 1 month of cash left. Withdrawn an offering. Don't see any exercise prices in the area. Kind of gapping now, 42%, not really quite up and up into the interesting range that I think people really want to attack short right out of the gate. You have obviously a day full of bag holders on the stock where it did 63 million shares, topping out in the 350s. It's a 2.2 million float, so could get moving. But not a lot of interest here for me. Definitely not to the long side. Doesn't really fit the price range that's been working. And you have all this resistance overhead from pretty much if anyone bought that day into the gap, into the middle of the gap. They've been down on their position since March. And any spikes into that area, I expect there to be some extra supply. So maybe the higher it goes, it becomes some sort of short. But at these levels, I'm not really that interested. Someone said GME popping. That's good news for us patient longs.
Yeah, I truly do think you're going to get a bounce on GME. I just don't think I'm going to play it.
Can't be buying 22, selling 21.5. Just can't be doing it.
No, I considered 21 in the after hours yesterday and just having like a wide risk approach and just saying that of all of them, like I think the apes will come back to this one. And like I think there's like if I look at this daily chart, do I see like where do I see this daily chart going? I don't know. I see a world where we're touching 25, 26, 27 eventually, kind of before we touch 15. But I hate buying stocks.
You always say that, but then you're always doing it.
Begrudgingly.
But yeah, I think I kind of feel the same way. It's not your prototypical first green day reversal, none of that stuff. This is more of a, I think it makes more sense that this spikes towards 30 before it goes back to 15. And if you're trying to play this, which I've seen a lot of people in our room trying to trade this Chop City Fest by buying when they think it's going to go. That's not the strategy, in my opinion. I know Huddie loves wide risk. I think that's the way to play these just because it is so choppy. Every big spike gets met with a disastrous pull. Even when it looks like it's going to go and AMC is ripping, it has a pullback into the close, right back down to afternoon support. Even right now, look how fast it's coming back down to earth. So what's AMC doing this morning? Had a nice strong day yesterday to try to start to get out of its range. These things are so beaten down, man. Wow. So you have to expect with how many bag holders there are with these companies both did offerings, right? Bounces are going to be choppy. They're not going to be as fast as you'd like. And if you are participating in them, I would believe maybe to say that patience is key. Price targets is important and having wide risk. That's your AMC GME talk of the day there. Let's see. Okay, ONMD, Z-Car, G-Wave, ASTI, CI, YTO. That's your list. Let's see if there's any other stocks or we'll get out of here early. Parker says, been seeing some OTC stocks getting volume. Hopefully get a hot OTC market soon. I doubt that, but I would always root for it. I'm never going to say never. And I don't know what stocks you're looking at because all the ones I keep trading keep on really murdering my dreams. To the point where I don't even want to trade them anymore, but I will because I love them. AITX pooped all over, I think, most of the people, me, Huddie, and Kyle, right? Thoughts on BE? Huddie?
BE?
This doesn't look like a small cap stock. Looks like a larger float, larger cap. Volume's consistent every day. This is an indicator to me for the most part, unless it's a super crazy hot sector like an SOUN or something that with a major level that matters. I'm not interested in charts like this because even on the days that are increased volume, the range isn't really that great. And I have no way of telling you what's going to happen on charts like this where at what point is there really a predictable move. Breakouts aren't that impressive, and if you want to make money in them, you got to hold through multiple wicks down and red days. I want stocks that are proven to have really big runs when the volume comes in and to the point of crazy overextension. And I don't think you get that with BE. It just doesn't fit our world. It's just not one of us. At least when we talk about something like GME or AMC, like look at the potential. The potential is wild craziness on days where it does insane volume. So you can expect serious range. It's predictable. Whereas on something like BE, I don't think it's as predictable. All right. Wayne says, Huddie sounds burnt. Are you burnt?
I don't think I'm burnt. I think it's just 5 a.m.
It's bright for 5 a.m. for you.
All the lights have to be on.
Parker says, haven't traded any OTCs yet, just observing and dreaming of a 2021 OTC market. I would say keep dreaming. And I don't take any happiness in saying that because I would be the happiest one of anyone if we had a serious OTC market where it made up like 50% of my watch list every day. That would be a great world. I think you'd find Huddie being a lot more bullish on buying crap.
I would love to buy some crap if it starts to move.
We love crap.
Speaking of which, Tupperware is a bunch of crap that I don't hate.
We love Tupperware.
It's like, my brain always goes, and I think the answer is neither to both, but would I rather size into GME at 20 and just wait for it to have a move, or would I rather size into TUP at 2 and wait for it to have a move? So I think they're both going to do the exact same thing. I think if GME has a strong day to 25, Tupperware has a strong day to 2.5. It's like the same thing to me. Although me personally, I'd rather buy Tupperware because of its price. I just like $2 stocks more than $20 stocks. I like this market cap and this price level. Definitely levels of interest for me are 215 and 250. 250 being the big key level. And I think we have a triple top there over the past month. So, day that we kind of get back up there, consolidate and break out, maybe we're restarting another sequence of breakout for Tupperware. I think that's the one I'd rather buy.
Which has a great history. If you guys were around last summer, this one was, I know there's probably archive video lessons of me talking about this one, just how predictable this one became after 2 green days, red day, 2 green days, red day, 2 green days, and then trend broken because we're overextended. it was a great breakout buyer. It was fun. And, you know, through this 250 level, you do have a lot of resistance overhead. But if the risk reward equation makes sense, I really do like this area of coming off its lows, kind of setting this triple top at 250, 260, and going sideways right here around 2. So definitely interested in that one as well. Been an active week. A lot of stuff on watch, a lot of stuff to pay attention to. I know I feel like I just keep missing everything. But we make our watch list. I even started today like highlighting and on the stocks on my watch list like order of priority just so that way I don't miss things.
You color coding?
I color coded. It's red if they're like BNED gap down too much today for I'm interested in a short, so I don't even want to like have it on watch. Then like, you know, Fifi green, something like TUP yellow.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, wonderful turnout this morning. Also, if you guys didn't know, link in the description. We are doing our first virtual boot camp. It's the exact same setup if you've ever joined us live in person, where we'll have guest speakers. We will be doing presentations on Saturday and Sunday, June 22nd, 23rd. And then on the 24th, we will have a half day of live trading with us as well. So same format. If you've been to one in person, we've done one in Arizona, Boston, New York. The next in-person one will be on the West Coast most likely, but we do want to try to accommodate those of you who don't want to travel, can't travel, don't want to spend a ton of money. And so this is your time to see what we're all about in terms of a boot camp. It is far more affordable. You don't have to travel. You don't have to fly. You don't have to stay. Unfortunately, there won't be any cocktail hours. I know that's sad. We have a great time. The last few have been just a riot. You remember the bartender who had to get kicked out at the last one? That was a lot of fun. But none of that shenanigans, nothing like that. But link in the description if you want access to that June 22nd through the 24th, basically a month from today. If you want to get your ticket to that, I think there is early bird pricing right now. Wayne says, look for the Billies, the Billy Boys. I don't see any potential Billy Boys today, but you never know. Sometimes they come out of nowhere, and we'll be talking about them again.
G-Web is a potential Billy Boy.
You're not swinging that again into all that resistance.
I'm just telling you it's a potential Billy Boy. I didn't say anything about swinging it. I just said it might have 1 billion shares today. It's already got 300 million in the pre-market.
It's holding around 12.
I think it's failing around 12.
Alrighty, let's wrap it up. We will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow to wrap up the week. The 24th will be a Friday. Thank you guys for being here this morning. Last night for Wine Wednesday. We're going to head on over to the Clover room. As always, if you want access to that, clovertrading.io as well. No more 7-day, $7 trial, unfortunately. But we will be over there talking through all these stocks, talking through ideas. And we have a webinar today. Well, I at least have a webinar today at 11 o'clock. So all you 4-leafs, look forward to that. Spending the day. We'll talk about this morning, talk about the week. And we'll have a great time doing it. So we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:45 a.m. for another edition of Good Morning NASDAQ. Have a wonderful Thursday and a wonderful rest of your week. And let's all just be safe out there and have a great time doing what we love.